unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time for introductions, so we're just gonna jump right in. We have a great mirror matchup with 100 Dweebs versus BBQ Esports, or what I like to call it, the barbecue esports, because they cook. I'm joined by the amazing Tenebris. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Excited for these semifinals. Finally, to see two amazing teams clash against each other. And can't wait to see what's next.
Absolutely. We got a little bit of info off the bat, right? We see a KO knife coming in. You know, that's great for that early info, but when you throw it so easily, it's easy to be broken, right? One click with any gun, and that knife is gone. But, you know, it looks like a B hit just off the bat, and I believe they're just going to explode right into the site once they can figure out all of this killjoy util.
And this is pretty common for teams who haven't played a lot against each other. They'll usually play a little bit of contact, walk up, but here comes the hit, and first it comes the duel against HO gets one. Trix gets the trade, but Calico finally manages to get that mirror. Xeniq finds another one in this round, put it in a 4v2. Spike goes down, and we are in a post-plant situation. Now, these attackers have really good positions, and even with that flash that completely nuked Xeniq's vision, they're still able to hold these positions. Be careful with this Omen here. Will not find anything on the lurk, but manages to get Tron to 47 HP. The drone will tag them through. If there were better weapons, maybe we get a little spam. Xeniq still attempting. It's just left to these 2v3, and the Spike is taken down. I'm not sure if anything is going to happen here, no?
I mean, right now they're sitting in a great situation. But Tron able to take out Nod. They're able to get good. Gray gets one. It's down to a 1v1. Xeniq versus Tron, or Xeniq versus Gray, and Gray gets the kill. But unfortunately, there's not enough time left, and that Spike is going to take them out. That is the first round, and honestly, a really interesting round. I did not think it was going to get that close.
Yeah, it was really close. Gray coming in with that 3K, but couldn't quite get the timing, you know? The other team, the attackers, managed to very well play the post-plant situation and not allow the defenders to retake properly without taking any losses, right? Even though we saw that Omen lose that duel over on the flank, he still managed to, one, waste the the defender's time, and two, lower one of them to 47 HP, so... I think Xeniq's team here knowing very well how to play this game and how to play that post plan.
Absolutely. You got some pretty good information, right? They're pushing all the way up through the extremities. This is absolutely going to give them a lot of information, but they did a massive gamble stack, and it unfortunately isn't going to prevail. The second that those players push up into A main and almost basically into Cat, they immediately need to know that they have to rotate over, because the sooner you can rotate, the sooner you're able to stop the exec. But fortunately, it is now going to be a 5v5 retake on an eco for 100 Dweebs.
And look at this position. Most teams in these positions would look to not even fight, not give up any of those ultors, but this time 100 Dweebs are going to look to fight. Xeniq finds the first onto Trix, finds a second one onto Souls, and it's that KJ with a double, Xeniq with a triple to close down this Ica round with fairly minimal losses. Only losing, I think, one of those Spectres over on the side of the KJ for BBQ Esports, and, you know, amazing round. Barely lost anything, and I think this will prove to be a hard round for 100 Dweebs, even though they have the upper hand when it comes to the buy.
You know, I definitely have to figure out whose map pick this is. I believe, you know, our producer will probably tell me in about a minute or so whose map pick this is, but yeah, so I just got told this is Barbecue's pick, and it really does seem like it. The way that they're playing and the way that they're playing together, it just shows how good it is. And Echo taking out Tricked. There goes one of you. There goes your hard info initiator, and all of a sudden, now sitting in a 4 versus 5. But one off that KJ ult, that can do some massive damage.
It can do a lot of damage, and look at the positioning from BBQ Esports. They have taken all of this mid control, and they're getting ready to do a tree hit onto this A side, which is completely empty. 100 Dweebs have managed to put themselves on the opposite side of the map, even though they have no information. I feel like this would be the point in the round where you would be looking to find some of that information, especially now that your hard info initiator is dead. Well, here comes the execute from the side of BBQ Esports. It's coming in hot and heavy. Xeniq being the first one in. watching out for that A main control because they have lost it. They are not aware of any of the players. Souls manages to get one, but Xeniq finds the trade instantly onto that mirror duelist. It's now left to a 3v4, but very careful because that Omen from BBQ Esports. Oh, but Echo with the flank. Xeniq finds one, and Echo's making a ton of noise. Picks up a Vandal, finds the headshot onto his mirror. Jazz switch out to the Sheriff and finds, I think that's a third this round or a second?
Yeah, that is a 3K, and that's definitely a round that 100 Dweebs isn't able to lose. As you can see, right, the economy isn't looking that good. They just lost their full buy, so they have to save this round. But, you know, Tron being able to afford that stinger, which is really good if you can get up close and personal with them. But at the same time, they're going to take a look at that, and they're going to know, and they're not going to let you get up close. They're going to take those angles and pick them off. We see the Blade Storm online for Xeniq. We see the Killjoy lockdown as well online for Echo. So this could be very, very punishing if they decide to hit this B site.
It can be very punishing, but Air does have those knives ready to go for a fight if it needs to. Echo will take a little bit of damage from the Nano, will manage to find the kill on poor Jazz, who was trying to do everything they could with that Sheriff, but the attacker lockdown will go down. This will prevent the rest of the defenders from flooding, will give the attackers a sweet plant, you know, easy one, and now puts the defenders in a little bit of a tricky situation because they're going to have to clear all of this out in less than 45 seconds if they want to have a chance to defuse this spike. Tricks coming in with a little bit of utility, but these Sheriffs aren't looking very strong. Souls, though, manages to find one on that KO. Echo with the instant trade on Tricks, though. It looks like the defenders are stacked up here together in this little snake formation. Souls going in with the stick instantly. Tron manages to find one. Xeniq finds a trade, but Calico and Xeniq, this dynamic duo of Initiator and Duelist, manages to find a good cross angle and end the round, putting another one on the scoreboard and making 100 Dweebs sweat a little bit, no?
Yeah, I mean, if honestly right now for me, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, you know, they got to call, if they can, they've got to call a timeout. They've got to get back together because they're swinging angles that they shouldn't. They're doing so well at taking all of this space towards A main, but they're not really capitalizing off it because the second you have those players push towards A main, you should start to keep the rest of those players rotating over, just because you already have a lot of information. You'll hear anybody running up cat, and you'll hear anybody trying to push into tree. We do have the null command coming online for Gray, so this swing pretty good. Getting some damage in, but unfortunately not going to get the kill. They're going to take the refight, get a little more damage, but unfortunately, no one going out just yet.
And I love that even though they're having this, you know, kind of skirmish towards mid, the rest of BBQ's team is still taking this 8 side. They managed to completely run it over. John having to give it back. A spike comes down. Souls with the first kill on the round, but Xeniq with that trade instant. But careful because Jess has managed to take out that crucial player that has been Xeniq for this BBQ team. Gray gets one, but it gets traded yet again. Tricks leaving this in a 3v1 and just up to Echo. A player who has been so clutch for, like, you know, the few 4 rounds is now in a situation where they have to. Manages to find the first, but will not win out the duel against Trick. 100 Dweebs managing to put the first one up on the board, and it's looking a little better for their fate.
Yeah, and with that, you know, with the kills that Trick was able to get, it brings the Hunter's Fury online. But, you know, you see the other side. You've got the Hunter's Fury Blade Storm online for both sides. One of those teams, they're going to wait for the Hunter's Fury to get popped and try to counter alt one another. Because that, you know, that's the simple play when playing Sova, is if you hear another Sova alt, you're going to figure out where they're coming from and you're going to alt them back. It does look like Xeniq is going to be using the Blade Storm, so we'll see how that works.
For a second, I thought he was going to be using an operator because I saw him doing a little bit of shuffling and the economy looked strong, and I was hoping for a little bit of that classic Jet operator on this map, but instead we have a Judge with the Blade Storm, but Souls has popped his Blade Storm as well in response. I think expecting those Blade Storms to be popped a little earlier. Ooh, and managing to find a great timing up on the bot. A little missed movement from the part of Echo. has given Souls a giant amount of space. And his team must be aware of the situation, must be ready to respond. Oh, but Souls has to check this corner. He's going to find all of them. But the tricky discipline is amazing. Oh, the bot finds one, and he manages to find two. With a headshot onto Calico and the rest of the kills onto Worm. We'll give him the advantage. We'll give his team the advantage. Sadly, he does end up passing away here. But that was a huge play from the part of 100 Dweebs, understanding those timing with that KJ turret, no?
I mean, absolutely, right? If you see an advantage, you're going to take it. And immediately, the first thing that we notice is they've taken down the Hunter's Fury. They've taken down a massive ult, which can be used in, in combo with a dart. And now, now they get spotted by the turret. It takes a little bit of damage, and this is going to probably draw a bunch of rotates over. And maybe Jess, maybe she's able to actually get one. But unfortunately, gets a bunch of damage, but unfortunately is not able to get one. And the Hunter's Fury is going to be popped. Does tag a few. Actually gets Xeniq as Bray takes out Nan Echo. 16 HP sitting in a 1v4. Unfortunately, they are not able to prevail. That is a second round for 100 Dweebs. They've started to pick up their pace a little here.
Starting to change it up a little bit. I do wish they were a little less static, right? Because when we see that there's 30 seconds left, we have no information towards A side, and we hear a couple footsteps towards that B side. I wish that the 100 Dweebs would have fought that a little more, but I guess they were playing for that Hunter's Fury, expecting the enemy team of BBQ Esports to be a little forced to plant in a little awkward spot, which they did. And yeah, but I wish they would be a little less static, a little more dynamic, looking to aggress into those sites where we have a little bit of question mark, where we don't have information. But I guess they're leaving that all up to Souls, which this time is starting up to mid, so we could see something interesting here.
Yeah, I mean, potentially the ability for Souls to push up again, but it does look like Xeniq is going to be pushing up, and Souls actually did buy the operator, so this could be very, very massive, especially when holding this mid angle, because there's so much open space for someone to walk through that it makes it easier to get those kills. But right now they're just sitting at a standstill and not really doing anything. The Hunter's Fury catches Souls. Unfortunately, was not able to use any of the movement to get out of there, and that is a massive loss because that operator costs a lot of money.
It not only costs a lot of money, but now puts you in a situation where you don't have anybody to re-clear or re-entry whenever this A site gets taken, which it seems that BBQ Esports is looking to immediately run it over. But they have to be very careful because they have, even though they have control of A main, they don't have any of the KJ utility to stop anybody from coming from mid. So if any of the 100 Dweebs players decide to retake that mid area, it would be a little difficult. But it seems like they want to take the fight up close. Calico gets the first onto Drake, putting it in a 3v4, or sorry, 3v5. Comes here the flash, goes the paranoia. Gray, beautiful shots onto Nan. Calico with the flank, manages to find another one, and Jess is the last hope, but finally gets put down by Xeniq in the 5th round for BBQ Esports, looking like the team we saw at the beginning of this half.
Yeah, and we see Echo right now. Killjoy has the operator online, and it's a lot of people underestimate how much a KJ can be useful with a scoped weapon like an operator or an outlaw. But really, those players are going to be the ones that are potentially playing off-site or off the path with your team. They're going to be the ones looking to get ready to take those angles. And right now with that turret, though, that turret's going to spot them immediately, and they're going to have to potentially waste a shot to take out this turret.
And I think having so many teammates around you should be calling one of them right now to come clear this turret for you, because that creates a question mark for the rest of 100 Dweebs that they have to re-clear you, and that way they force you to push into them. Be careful here. Souls is looking to find some aggression, but he doesn't have a lot of backup, right? He has Gray on that cat area with a flash possibly ready, but it'd be a little tricky to give backup to this duelist so deep into enemy territory. But it doesn't seem like he's going to find any duels here, as the entirety of BBQ Esports is sitting in this B main. And here comes that KJ ult that you were talking about earlier. Trix is going to try to spot out a few of them, but the dart is not going to spot anybody. And this is looking like a standard standard B take with that KJ Util. Echo finding one with that operator. Xeniq finds a beautiful headshot onto Tricks, but careful with Souls for the flank, but instantly shot down by Calico, leaving this in a 2v5. And I think if you're 100 Dweebs here, you should call for a save. Not looking very well on the economy. You know, you are at this point just gonna give ult orbs away to the enemy team, but we'll see here. Gray has a little bit of an opportunity. He could find Xeniq here. He has an isolated angle as that Soba on the BBQ esports team, but as I said, the save is being called here, and man, I think 100 Dweebs need to call a timeout pronto.
Yeah, I mean, right now they've been losing a lot of rounds where they shouldn't. They really shouldn't have lost their first full buy round, especially going against a bonus round. Obviously, right, because of the amount of kills that all of the players got, they were able to get the guns, but Xeniq catches the timing onto Gray. Tron takes out 2, potentially could get the 3rd, but Xeniq gets the 3K, takes out Tron, and, you know, those extra bullets that they're shooting, they're just making sure that person is dead and they don't move again, because, as we all know, Clove is in this game.
Clove is available, yeah. Clove and Sage, you know, he could have gotten Sage ulted right there, you know.
True, Sage ulted from the dead.
So, anyways, I think 100 Dweebs, I think they need to play a little bit more aggressive, but as a team, right? We've seen a lot of aggression coming from Souls, especially towards that middle area of the map, with a little bit of support from Gray on that KO. But I think we need to see a little bit more set plays, a little bit more coordination to look to disrupt a little bit of BBQ esports setups, right? Because they're playing a very standard game of Valorant, you know, salt of the earth, punch the clock Valorant, where they take a little bit of space, they manipulate rotations a little bit, and then they just do a standard entry goes in, flash behind, execute, right? So you need to disrupt those setups so that that enemy team can't just steamroll you with their execute every single time. And I'm hoping that this might be the round. But Echo looking for a little duel. We'll see the shoulder onto that Soba from 100 Dweebs. Bo will not be able to find the kill. The dart will spot Echo, so that just confirms the positioning of that operator. But great. About to get into a huge fight here. Oh, the timing! Just looks away, and Worm is able to take him down, giving a lot of space to this BBQ esports team, because now that KO is not able to use the utility for retake. Calico will find one onto Tron, and Xeniq has taken the site, giving space for that spike to be planted. Gets halted a little bit, maybe looking for some of that retake utility, but yet again, it's looking like a standard execute. BBQ esports are not giving 100 Dweebs a single inch, but they are taking every mile possible. These sheriffs are making a lot of noise, but they don't seem to be finding a lot of value. Calico shutting down one of them. Echo taking another one with that operator, but Tricks managing to land a trick shot like he's playing for FaZe Clan, and the spray is just not there. Calico with a 3K for the round, putting another one up on the board for BBQ esports.
I mean, right now, in my books, 100 Dweebs is just putting it up for the 9-3. But at the same time, that, you know, 9-3s only work if the team is willing to let it. If the team actually works for it and is able to make the 9-3 possible, then it's going to be a lot more likely to happen. But right now, it looks like they've made a decent gamble stack with, you know, on this B site. They're leaving their Omen all the way over there. Their Omen has the TP to get out, but Xeniq taking out Souls, which is a massive, massive pick. But Gray takes out 2 and is able to walk back into safety. That knife, I believe that knife just scanned 2, if not all 3 players sitting there. So they know that they're still there. They know they don't have to worry, but it does look like Tricked. It does look like Tron are going to make their way back just for some safekeeping, right?
Just for some safekeeping, and I would love to see here Tron getting into a more aggressive position. You know that there's 3 players on this B side, and you have that Omen ult, so you should be playing as deep into A main as you possibly can to negate that rotate. You know, you still have a minute left on the clock. BBQ esports at any point could choose to rotate over to that A side, and we see a little bit of support coming from that Soba to help out Tron to see if he can spot out anybody, but I feel like Tron should be going way deeper here. Knife will come out again, from the side of 100 Dweebs, and I think it spots all 3 players yet again. That Omen is left once again on that A site, playing a little bit of safe position. We have Chess with the lockdown and Gray with the null command ready here for an execute, and this crossfire needs to come in handy. Echo will manage to break it, killing both players on their own. An insane carry masterclass we're seeing here from part of Echo, finding those 2 kills and giving another shot at this round for BBQ Esports after such a disastrous play from the part of Gray, basically decimating their whole attack. But there's still time left on the clock. Put in a 2v2 situation post-plan. Paranoia will not hit anybody, but Tron managing to find the back-to-back shots on both players for BBQ Esports, giving the 3rd round. And maybe you're right. Maybe they were just gambling for the 9-3.
Absolutely. You know, another play that could have easily worked to potentially waste a lot of time is actually popping the KJ ult. As you know, as much of a downside as it could be, you know, wasting such a good retake ult like that, there's a lot of upsides. You win the round, your economy could look a little better, potentially keeping 2 more players alive, because that buys your team the rest of the time to rotate over. But also, they also have to look at the economy for BBQ Esports. There isn't a lot of room for error with them. They have a lot of money, so they're just going to push and push and push until they can't afford it. And when they do, they have Jet's Bladestorm online and Xeniq ready to pop off with it. And I mean, right now, it just looks like a simple rotate, but I think Souls can actually hear the rotate as Gray taking out Echo from mid. But look at the position of Gray. Gray's moved up all the way now.
In this, that knife will spot him, and Gray managing to find a headshot onto Xeniq. Gray's turning up right now, but finally gets shut down by Worm. But that was an incredible play, because now this has placed Souls into a deep position. Now, 100 Dweebs have complete control of this B site and basically complete control of mid, and they can focus all of their manpower towards that A site where they know that hit is coming from. Souls still holding it down here, could come in with a late lurk, but I think most likely he's gonna look to break into that tree area. But careful, because I see the player from BBQ Esports, that Omen, looking for the ult, and he's just gonna ult into sight, giving him a lot of space, and manages to find Tron, who was a little lost in terms of where that enemy Omen could have TP'd from. Souls coming in from that area, and Worm still causing chaos to the backlines of 100 Dweebs, manages to find a 3rd for the round, but it's still left up to Souls, a player who has looked, you know, a little lackluster in terms of the fragging. We've seen Gray pick it up, managing to find those traits onto his duelist, but I think for any team, you gotta have your star player fragging out, because even if the frags are not necessarily, you know, round winners, they still give a lot of morale. Souls managing to find one, shutting me up, instantly manages to find another headshot, and it's all left to Calico. Manages to find another kill for this round, putting it in a 1v1. The shot there will come through, will completely hit Souls, and Calico utilizing that utility to negate the spike diffusal and giving his team 1 more round and putting them on a half point.
Yeah, I mean, last round for the swap, you have to go all out, and the buy that they have is not beneficial in the slightest. You know, a lot of them having Spectres, some of them having Stingers, and maybe the occasional Guardian or Vandal Phantom. But at the same time, we can't count those guns out just yet. Right, we see 2 Vandals being bought, with Souls and Gray being able to afford full shield and the Vandals. But at the same time, they're going up against a full buy themselves. BBQ Esports doesn't have to worry about winning or losing this round, because right now they have the round advantage. They have the momentum going into this round, and they're just going to use it to their advantage as much as they can.
Yeah, and there's no pressure at all on BBQ Esports. Even if they lose this round, they have 4 rounds advantage, as you previously mentioned. So I think they're pretty comfortable to just let 100 Dweebs throw out a desperation, a Hail Mary, and just capitalize of the poor buy from the side of 100 Dweebs. Drones will get handshake. Gray still managing to find one. This guy is on fire. Hopefully we can see a little more of him on the attack side, because right now he is dominating all these 1v1s. But can he win this round? Can he dominate this half? Trick hearing a lot of that movement coming in from Xeniq, but will only manage to find a little bit of dart. The attacker Killjoy ult will come in, negating a lot of movement. Worm tagging up Tricks, but doesn't manage to find anything. Jess and Gray, on the other hand, managed to find that duelist and that initiator. Worm stuck in this position, having to watch for the player on Pizza, manages to find him a Grave, finishes third on this round, leaving it in a 3v1, and they know exactly where Worm is. Tricks gave it all the information, and this knife will come in just to let them know. 12 seconds left on the round, and I think we're gonna have the 4-8. Maybe they weren't. Oh my god, the TP is a little insane. No time left on the clock though, so even if you manage to find the kill onto Jess, would not being able to plant, giving a 4th round to 100 Dweebs and giving them a little bit of hope for this next half, because even if they lose this pistol, they still have a shot of taking this map the distance.
Yeah, they have a few more rounds, you know, left ahead, right? But at the same time, you know, the advantage still is in BBQ Esports' court. They still have, you know, they have the momentum advantage. And I believe they're probably going to be in the heads of 100 Dweebs a little bit with that Omen TP play. My only questionable play is Killjoy playing on the same side as their team that on the site they're hitting, instead of playing towards that B site to gather information. They're just sitting with their team.
They are sitting together, but that's not necessarily bad, when especially when you're playing with such a fast pace as 100 Dweebs seems to be playing with, right? Because you're expecting that all of this noise and all of this movement is going to draw the enemy teams to insta-rotate. Xeniq, looking for the early duels, manages to find his partner up on the other side, manages to find a second on the round. Be careful with Jess and Gray here. They manage to find a lot of space, but they have a couple players behind them, and this crossfire is becoming a little untenable. Echo with a double to match his duelist, wants to find a third, but Nan will be the one, and I think that's his first kill. I don't know if I missaw the leaderboard, and yes it is. Nan managing to find that first kill, finally puts a number up on the board and gives his team the 9th round and puts them closer to those double digits. And I think we need to start looking towards the next map, at least for 100 Dweebs. That was a crucial pistol round, and I think sadly we're just going to have to start thinking about what's going to be on their table for that next map.
Well, and I mean, the next map, right? The next map's Sunset, which in my books is just Ascent 2.0. It's basically the same map, but it looks like the gamble stack from BBQ Esports is beneficial. Echo being able to catch the wall bang onto Gray, but then I don't know if they know that. I don't know if they know that they're there. Oh, they get two. Xeniq gets another, but Jess gets that. But unfortunately, Calico, they are able to catch the last kill, and a little more shooting of the bodies, but I mean, I still have to think they're just making sure they're dead. There's no chance that it's gonna be, you know, just spraying bodies because we can. But you know, if you looked at the scoreboard a little bit, I think 100 Dweebs has bought full rifles, as much util as they can, and light shields. So they're gonna be forcing in a situation on to a bonus buy, and it could be very detrimental if they lose this round, because they won't have enough money for at least the next potentially 2 rounds.
I think even if they lose this round, I don't think I'm worried about the money. I'm worried about the momentum that's going to come from being down 4-11. You know, we've seen teams like Fnatic be able to claw it back from that 3-11, but I don't think you have the mental, you know, to be able to, after taking such a long game, especially for 100 Dweebs, to be able to claw it back. But miracles have happened before. Let's see if 100 Dweebs prayers will be answered. Echo here feeling a little frisky. We'll find that duel, but Souls instantly shuts him down. Doesn't even take a little bit of damage, and that will give them the cue to hit up this execute onto the B side. But Xeniq, I think, is in a little bit of a ratty position. Will not manage to find anything. Nan putting up another number on the board for himself, but 100 Dweebs managed to find a 5th round, giving us a little bit more hope for this map. And we'll see if they can take it a little bit longer, although I think the end is inevitable. You know, I think this is a little bit of a Thanos moment. You know, at the end, you come back to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I mean, to me, right? I have the map. The map picks are there. I've got a long history with the map Lotus. I won't get into too much detail, but I've seen that map for hours and hours and hours on end. So to me, right, that is my end, and that is inevitable for me. But that is also if 100 Dweebs is able to squeak out a win either on this map or the next, and a duel coming out. Asiator takes out two. They were stacked on each other, Gray, and souls were taken out.
No.
There goes your flashes, and there goes your entry. So someone else now has to pick up the entry role, and I believe that just confirms their suspicion with, with the fact that Echo has moved up a lot towards this, mid area, and they're just pushing into a fully stacked site. This could be very, very bad. Trick gets spot out. Gets killed. Nan gets the kill. Calico taking out Tron. And Nan taking out Jess. And that right there, that's 11. And they've only got to get one more, and they're on match point. So, and it's a flawless, by the way. So that can just ruin people's mental off the bat.
Yeah, it can be a little, especially after you get collided against an op while you're walking down mid, just trying to attain a little bit of map control, and then you just get skewered. It must be a little bit dooming, but it's still 5-11. It's still possible for 100 Dweebs to make a comeback and at least take it to, if not one, maybe two overtimes. But it's looking a little grim. I feel like they need to copy a little bit of BBQ Esports playbook, right? Ascertain a little bit of map control all over the map. I think what worked beautifully for BBQ Esports is that they were basically, it seemed like they were everywhere across the map, and I don't like this play, crossing over that one way. Instead of waiting it out, you have a lot of time. It's not like you're in any time crunch. You could have just waited out this one way, but I think disrespecting it gave them a lot of pressure, Worm had to back up. A lot of support was called over. That KO coming over, Asianator, that Jet moving closer towards the area of mid. Now Tricked is getting into a little bit of a scuffle against this Echo, and he's gonna put out the drone, see if he can spot anything. And yet again, BBQ Esports being very proactive, very dynamic, getting Asianator and Nan to come over to this B site. I think they feel like this execute is gonna come through, but I believe that Jess is just picking up this ult orb, and they're gonna rotate all the way back around to the A site. A little bit of an around the world strat, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, right now the A site is only being defended by, I believe that's Purple Worm, and right now they really don't have enough time to rotate now, so they have to make a choice, and the Killjoy lockdown is going to get popped. They're going to wait a bit, but the better question now is, do they clear Nan?
And I don't think they will. Asianator with the first. Nan comes in with a double. Echo with the support over the top. And for the viewers at home who are a little confused, after Echo gets that final kill, the lockdown, I think, was broken by Calico by simply just spraying through with an Odin. So, that Odin has been a staple weapon for this map, and we're seeing it yet again why it's so valuable. Being able to just simply shut down that KJ ult, which would have wrecked their positions on this B site, because they were really deep, right? We saw Nan in logs tucked into that corner. If the KJ ult comes through, he would have been absolutely decimated, but that Odin coming in yet again, and Asianator also keeping up with this operator. And I think it's looking like the beginning of the end on this round number 17.
Yeah, and a very, very fast mid hit coming in, but with all those footsteps, they're drawing over the site of Asianator, and that takes Tricked out of the equation, but it looks like they're actually going to push towards this A site. As Skulls gets taken out, Worm gets one, Nan gets two, gets three, and that is map one going on. The more refreshable util anymore after, the downfall of Sky. So this could potentially be a really good composition where you're rocking your double flashes at the same time. They have to shoot one flash, and if they shoot it, they're looking at another flash. So they're going to get immediately blinded from it. And if they turn away, they're going to get blinded from the Gecko. So it's a really, really smart comp to run, but you need a lot of talking and a lot of chatter to go along with that comp.
And I think it would have been perfectly matched if they, instead of bringing that Cypher, they brought a Sage, because I think it would have really complemented this really aggressive playstyle that they have going on with the double flash. That Cypher is a little more defaulty, so I think it loses a little bit of the flair. But Rappa not finding that player hitting in the corner. Nan will find Souls, and Trix and Tron each managing to find a kill just as well, leaving this into a 4v2. Gray managing to find another kill, leaving this on the rookie, on the guy that was subbed in, Rappa Rice. And he has a little bit of flank. Cypher hasn't put down any of his strips, so he's gonna have a free intro into the site, but instantly swatted by Gray. Manages to find the headshot though. It's all left onto a 3v1. Doesn't find the kill onto Tron, and that is a crucial pistol round for the side of 100 Dweebs, especially for their mental, because after such a tough loss, you need to win every single round possible to bring those spirits back.
Absolutely, and they're gonna do what they can to bring it back. They're going to, they're gonna do what is, my favorite thing to do, which is go ahead and anti-eco. For those of you who don't know, anti-eco is actually buying up guns in the second round after you win pistol round to, have the gun advantage. But at the same time, we've seen teams that have gotten eco'd or thriftied on an anti-eco round. So I'd be happy to see if they are able to do it. Souls playing this Raze with the judge and is able to take out Ned. But unfortunately, they are not able to take out Calico. My fault, Gray. Taking out Calico, Tron taking out Purple Worm. And, that leaves Xeniq sitting with a Bulldog. And I believe that is Rappa Rice. She's sitting just with a Classic right now, which is very smart. You want to save the guns. And, 2v4 retake, it's really not looking too hot. They want to try and save this Bulldog if they can. And I believe that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go and play exit frags to at least try and make sure that they can potentially get one more or some more damage on them.
Honestly, in my opinion, in this round, you should be looking to deal more damage, right? Because even if you save that Bulldog, you are going to be on a buy round regardless. Oh, here we go. With a little bit of a duel. Xeniq managing to find Gray, but Trix finds Rappa Rice on the advance. Oh, but Xeniq plays it perfectly, and it wastes just enough time so that Tron and his Gecko are killed by the spike. That caused a little bit of problems for the side of 100 Dweebs, as they will now have to play this buy round from the side of BBQ Esports with basically like it's a eco round, no? Like basically like it's a pistol round. We see Trix finding that ghost and Tron picking up the stinger, but it's looking a little rough on the side of BBQ Esports, or I'm sorry, 100 Dweebs.
When you compare the buys, absolutely. But right now, they've got a 2-round momentum. The Flash is going to actually spot at Xeniq, but this duel is not favorable for you at all, Souls. I would not peek that. Nate is going to go off, stop the push, and almost being able to actually take out Souls in its entirety. Souls looking for the heal, not going to get it. The dog is going to clear out the entire site, but Xeniq catches Souls on such little HP, and Tron picks up the leaf frag, but Rappa Rice and Nan are able to take out 2, but Jess, she gets 1. Sitting in a 1v3, 1v2, takes out Nan, but right now, I don't think that bomb is going to be planted for you. And they're just going to stick the defuse. Rappa Rice taking out Jess. And unfortunately, 2-1, they were not able to keep the flawless going as long as they could. 2-1, it is going to be, honestly, I hope it's going to be a really great matchup. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I know they're down 1-0 in the series, but I think 100 Dweebs does have a chance if they can collect everything and get it together.
I think this round is going to be very crucial. It's going to determine who's going to have the economy advantage for the rest of the half. If 100 Dweebs manage to get this round, they basically put BBQ Esports into an eternal save, unless they manage to find at least 2 or 3 rounds in a row. But if on the other hand, BBQ Esports managed to find another one and even the score 2-2, it'll put 100 Dweebs in a very tricky situation in terms of economy. This Gecko is going to be used here to clear up all of the space on B main, picking up the ult orb and giving him that thrash. Oh, Worm is not ahead of the timing. Oh, the stun comes in, does manage to stun him, but we'll still manage to find souls. Grave finishes the trade. Xeniq though is ready to defend his teammates' honor. Calico gets stunned by this thresh, but won't be able to be taken off the board just yet, thanks to his teammate and his wire trap being there to protect them. Tries to get a duel here, but Tron gets the kill. Xeniq with the instant trade. Nan ready with a little bit of util. That showstopper comes out. Nan with an instant headshot onto Jess, and it's all left to Trix, which manages to slide one, but Nan gets the headshot, and the headshot wasn't acquired. That showstopper surely would have decimated him to bits. 2-2. BBQ Esports managing to find the second round, and like I said, economy for 100 Dweebs looking a little bit rough right now.
I mean, obviously, the way that we saw last map, and the way that we're seeing it so far, you know, I'm gonna have to ask, all-time Mr. Producer, man, are timeouts allowed in this series? So we got the confirmation the timeouts are allowed, but apparently no one is deciding to use them, and they are the most crucial part of playing in officials and playing in scrims, is utilizing your timeouts, and also for ValoRec, utilizing the angles you can hold with a judge.
Yeah, this smoke is something we've seen from that BBQ Esports team, or not specifically the smoke, but this type of utility, right, where you negate a crucial part of the map from that attacking enemy team, and you basically force them to clear you with either utility or just a straight body. ValoRec, knowing this information, is gonna put it in on this judge here, but we won't find anything as the rest of the team of 100 Dweebs will go straight to mid. Gray finds one. Xeniq finds a double, spraying down these players with these better weapons for the side of Xeniq, having this Vandal, using that utility to be able to find a little bit of information. Spike is down in the middle of the map. 100 Dweebs have full control of A side, but I don't think they're going to be able to get much out, XyRek. I think this is... Oh, wait! The Omen ult comes in, and the Spike will be planted, but a very treacherous post-plant situation when all members on your team are in such low health, right? We have that Omen at half, that Race at half, and that guy basically at no health. Tron will be taken even lower, will be Paranoia, will be Prowler, and Worm just sprays him down. Xeniq with a third in the round will get shut down by Gray though. This guy manages to get that ult online, will be great for the next round. It manages to find another one, but finally ValoRec won't be able to use that judge, but will use the Stinger to take down Gray, putting up another round for BBQ Esports. And I think we're seeing a little bit of the same situation we saw on last map. 100 Dweebs win the first pistol round, but BBQ Esports is able to capitalize on a few of their mistakes.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, that's the most beneficial thing that a team can do, is taking all of the information that you already have from the first few rounds and using it for the next couple rounds. And that's just the way that they can adapt to these certain playstyles. The camera that Jess has thrown, it is a very, very good camera to catch any early aggression, but you know, if not broken, it is able to be utilized in a post-plant scenario as long as you have your trips placed behind you. Which, I mean, before we've seen it happen where they aren't placed down. Calico taking out one as Nan gets Jess down. They have lost their Sentinel and they have lost their Duelist. This is going to be a really, really tough round for them to try and come back to right now.
And yeah, it's looking a little grim. BBQ Esports with the numeric advantage yet again. They have given up a lot of A site, right? They have the ability to grade, but Gray will only find one. Calico with a double on the round, leaving Tricked and Tron a little bit lost. That neural theft would come, giving up all the information. We see full BBQ Esports team rotating over completely towards this middle of the map. We'll not be able to find any of those skills at these players' crossovers, but we'll definitely find something as this little man goes down for the plant. And I don't think it's gonna be allowed. This breach comes in. Yep, afterburner. We'll take it down. God, managing to find one, even though Trick gets a little bit excited with that dizzy. Manages to keep his life though, but they are getting pinched. Calico with a third on the round, and the fourth will put the round away for BBQ Esports, 4-2. And 100 Dweebs, I think yet again, like you said, they need to use these timeouts, even if it's just to calm the nerves, even if you don't implement any new changes, even if you don't add any counter plays, you should still call the timeouts just to rein in the mental.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, 4-2. It's really it's not looking too well, but at the same time, this position from Purple Worm could be good on a buy where they're running it down with classics. So it could be a very good situation to potentially throw a trap play in there.
It could be pretty interesting, but the showstopper will come in. Souls manages to get Calico though on the trade. That Cypher will be put out of commission, which gives them access to the site. Tricks, lovely use of that little wingman to be able to basically use them as a crosser breaker to give him the play and the upper hand onto that better weapon. Using the Sheriff, they should have been able to pick up a couple Vandals from those two players that they managed to kill. 100 Dweebs up numerically in this post plan, drawn with a great position holding off the flank, while the bulk of BBQ Esports will be coming through Boba and Market. Trick with another beautiful headshot onto that. Sheriff, Nan, and Gray will trade each other out. Rapper Rice is the last man alive, but I don't think he's aware of the position from Tron, which will be the man who puts them out. And a thrifted round from 100 is very necessary. We'll put them back in action and give them a little bit of a chance to close the gap and finally take us to a map 3.
Yeah, I mean, they win the round, but they're looking at losing 4 in a row. If they lose this round right now, they have to call a timeout with no question about it. Because if they lose this round with that bye, then that's it, right? They need to reset everything. They need to reset their comms. They need to reset, how they're playing together. As Souls takes out Rapper Rice and the rotates are gonna go over as Xeniq. Fortunately, getting picked out by Gray as Gray takes out Purple Worm. The Neural Theft coming online, spotting out last two players, Calico and Nan. But Nan taking out Souls, which is a really great pick. Calico sitting at 6 HP. My bad. Gray takes out one, takes out another, and that is the 4K for Gray. 4K for Gray. That's definitely going to get someone twisted when they say that, but what a phenomenal round, and that is going to tie it up right now in the half. 4-4. This is still an interesting series.
And Gray, looking at that scoreboard, leading his team to a third map. They really want to get onto this Lotus. They do not want to go out in a 2-0 fashion. And I think Gray is the emotional leader that this 100 Dweebs team needs right now, right? You need a player to just be popping off and telling the rest of his players that they can do that as well. And here we go. Another round, very important because this round will determine if 100 Dweebs will maintain an economic advantage for the rest of the half, right? We still have 4 rounds left to play in this half. And it could be very important for 100 Dweebs to have the economic advantage. They don't have to worry about egoing, and Gray yet again with another opener on this map, putting his team in an advantage position so they can look to rotate. There's a lot of space being taken by Souls, as you can see on the air elbow, and Calico has been a little quiet. Now the Dizzy from the side of Trick will give it away. The little man will come down as well. Calico is zoned off by this bombshell that's coming in from Souls. Tricked and Souls onto a very awkward angle for Calico to clear through, right? You have Tricks in the area of elbow. You have Souls on top of the box. So Calico is looking for it. He's aware of the position. Oh, I'm sorry. She's aware of the position, but will not be able to win out the fight. Another player that's high up on top of that green box. Xeniq with a blind kill. Doesn't manage to find it with the showstopper. Will manage to find it with the paint shells. Manages to find another one with the judge, but it's still left in a 3v2. Pardon me, a 2v1. Xeniq 11 HP, not enough time on the clock. Not enough done with those kills. Jess finally shutting down the race and ending the party for BBQ Esports, giving another round to 100 Dweebs and putting this a little closer to the end for that team.
Yeah, their first time getting the lead back since, well, round 3, which honestly, to be fair, looking at the scoreline, 5-4, doesn't really seem like a lot, but when you also just watched how the Ascent game went, then it does seem like a bit, because they didn't really have the lead going in there. But right now, they do have a bit of momentum going in. That Cam actually spotting out Rapper Rice with the Cabbage Patch, or as I like to call it, the Cabbage Patch, running through, actually dodges the blind from Gecko. And right now, Tron sitting in a very unfortunate situation. Saul takes out Rapper Rice, takes out Nan, and that right there is the entire site for free. Well, for free, 1 death. Calico, they're taking heads, they're taking souls out of the equation. Purple Worm and Calico sitting in a comfortable 2v3, both alts online for BBQ Esports, whereas the Thrash is online for Tricked. So this could be interesting. That seemed a little high for a Cypher trip, no?
I think it's looking for anybody who might be trying to jump over. Oh, but Purple Worm, this TP's have been insane. Manages to find a kill onto that Cypher. Botron will even it out, leaving it into an Omen 1v1. Purple Worm will get the half, looking for the duel, but Tron has the better angle. Shuts down that mirror pick and gives the 6th round to 100 Dweebs. And man, this is looking and feeling like a completely different team. 100 Dweebs have been aggressive, and they have taken a space, especially since BBQ Esports is playing a more retake-centric composition towards the side of A. And 100 Dweebs has just been able to fully take advantage of that passive Cypher play and just completely steamroll BBQ Esports every time they fight onto this A site. Hopefully we see a little bit of an adjustment coming in from this BBQ Esports team, and I think we see it with Xeniq and Rapper Rice starting towards this A site, but they're instantly going to rotate over after not hearing a single lick of utility coming from 100 Dweebs, and instead a lot of noise is probably being heard by that Omen. And here comes the showstopper and the Thresh. Calico managing to find souls. The Thresh gets a little stuck. Jess manages to find Purple Worm, but Calico's still alive. The flash comes through, but it doesn't fully flash. Calico manages to find Jess, but Grey gets the trade. Xeniq with another trade. Spike is down 1v3. It's all up to Tricked. No utility to speak of, just his aim and just his weapon. Will dodge the flash, manages to find one. Both players are low. Oh, but Xeniq was ready on the duel. Bangs the headshot, finds the round, and ends the streak for 100 Dweebs.
Yeah, and right there, that gives them the silence on the momentum right now. The best bet right now is BBQ Esports getting the 6-6 half, but 100 Dweebs absolutely has to get this 7-5 half to even have a potential chance to try and come back. But I mean, right now, it's not looking as hot as it used to be in the last map, with, you know, BBQ Esports basically just walking through the entirety of 100 Dweebs. But, you know, one thing a lot of these teams aren't utilizing as much as they should is this mid space. They should start taking this mid space, and as I say, Xeniq is gonna take a pick with Soul. There's gonna be one more there, but they do not know about them, and they're just gonna leave them be, have them push towards that A site, which, I mean, right now the bomb is down towards the spawn, so they're gonna be looking to either make the rotate back towards this B or push back towards A. And it looks like with that intro pick, they're just gonna walk all the way up towards this A site, and it's going to be a very, very big brawl coming out here soon.
Exactly where you are.
And it's a beautiful play round again, where 100 Dweebs are sending a lot of fake pressure towards this B side, while still sending a team of lurkers over towards this A side. basically discombobulating BBQ Esports and not letting them know exactly where they're going. But at the end, it ends up being this B hit where the Cypher Chumps will spot out the wingman being planted. Tron will get Asianator, a very important kill because that denies the entry utility for BBQ Esports. Tron coming in with a little bit of a wacky TP over towards the A main site. We'll cancel it though to support his teammate over towards Market. He can still find a little bit of a lurk and have to hold my breath a little bit there because I thought Jess was going to be able to, or I'm sorry, Calico was going to be able to hold down the fort. But at the end of the day, 100 Dweebs get that 7-5 as you were mentioning, and that puts them in a great position to close out this map and possibly take us to a map 3.
Absolutely. I mean, Gray. It is right now a battle between Gray and Asianator. 15-9 on Asianator right now, going with that raise, but you know, Gray's 18-9 right now. That is just phenomenal, especially for an initiator where they're not the ones that are supposed to be getting as many of the frags. You should be having your initiators have a lot of assists. But at the same time, you know, if you can get the kill, you gotta take what you can get.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we forget that initiators should be the one taking those first duels, and sometimes it's kind of a little bit hard to let your duelists get up to enough in order to be able to take those first fights, and sometimes you just gotta be the one winning those first bloods. And this time, instead of seeing a first blood, we're gonna see a first dog coming in from Gray, looking to spot out Rapper Rice. He must expect a second player on this mid area. Looks for the duel. Seems like he wasn't expecting Calico to be so close. That gives a lot of space to BBQ Esports, who are a team which love just taking these a little bit awkward angles. Tricks will find one. Rohan will find another one, shutting down that mid push a little bit. But that still gives BBQ Esports all of A side because Calico is deep into this A spawn, but careful with this duel against Souls. Will find the injured player and will give his teammates the site. Issue coming out with the plant. Calico putting up a little bit of utility, left in a 3v3, but 100 Dweebs have a low member. That Gecko is really low on health, so a single shot from Calico Sheriffs could end them. Nan prepped with the piece of utility, ready to pop it off the contact on his teammate. Asian and Nan, dynamic duel, finding a double kill, and Calico with a third on the round, giving numero 6 over to BBQ Esports, closing the gap a little bit, and I think we're going to be seeing a 7-7 just around the corner.
You know, it's really shocking to see because to me it looked like that player could not pick who to shoot at. They were stuck trying to pick whether they should shoot the guy behind them, shoot the guy in front of them. You know what they should do? They just need to shoot someone. And you know, people could give me backlash, right? People could be like, "Oh, but that's mean to say." But at the same time, right? It's the truth. You have to understand that is what's gonna happen. Soul's taking out Calico, but they leave the entirety of site open. But they have the ball right here. If they had just pushed and fought this, they would have been able to take out Rapper Rice and kept the bomb in spawn.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of a nice place for 100 Dweebs, but I think they're understanding that they have a little bit of a numeric advantage, especially after getting that kill over towards a main. So they want to play a little bit more cautious, let that BBQ Esports team make the plays and make the mistakes, more importantly. But a big fight coming over from Market. Asianator manages to find Gray with Worm, finding another one. Asianator with a double Rapper Rice, using those superior weapons to find the rest of the team. And I think that first initial blood was just a flash in the pan because BBQ Esports smothered 100 Dweebs completely that round, putting us at a 7-7.
Yeah, absolutely. 7-7, back to a tie game. But I mean, now look at the buy that's going to be happening here. It's going to be very difficult for this team to actually try and do something because right now on defense, it looks like their whole objective was just push in extremity. They pushed up mid, they pushed up A, And, it worked. It got them the first 2 picks, but they weren't able to reset themselves to get the rest of the round.
Yeah, and this puts Barbecue Esports in a perfectly comfortable position that even if they lose maybe 1 or 2 rounds, they're still close enough where they can close out the map and maybe give us that 2-0 that 100 Eves are fearing. But either way, this is an important round, as every full first by full round from each half is, because it could lead to either of the teams having a major advantage. Here we go, though. Barbecue Esports coming in with that strong take, like we've seen all the time, where they have a perfect execute and then they just capitalize on it. 100 Dweebs, given a little bit of space. Gray managed to find the first one on the counter pick of Rapper Rice. Souls with a little bit of a cheeky angle, finding a double headshot, putting out a little bit of the fire started by Barbecue Esports. But H-Nader doesn't want to be outshone by his match. It's left up to a 1v1 H-Nader on 14 HP in a dream. Those have those pain shells. Those have that boom bod. Here comes the tap from 100 Dweebs. Jess is aware of the position, manages to find the weakened player, and manages to find the spike, giving the advantage to their team, putting 100 Dweebs on round number 8.
And this is a lot closer of a match than, I thought. And even maybe you thought as well, this is significantly closer than I would have imagined, especially coming off of, I believe it was 13-6 or 13-5. Thank you, Miss great old producer, the voice in the sky for me at this point.
Voices in my head.
Exactly, voices in our heads, which, I mean, technically, it's really what it is. But after a 13-5, it's definitely not something you expect to see. And a really aggressive push coming out. Asianator takes out Gray. Jess taking out Asianator. The showstopper not able to get any kills, but is able to do a decent chunk of damage. And they're just going to back off. They got their pick. And that's it. And this right here, this is the benefit we see to running that double flash initiator is you don't have to worry about one of your initiators going down. You're going to have flashes, but Calico is taking a massive angle up here. But do they know?
Man.
Trick, unfortunately, not swinging in time. Calico getting the other pick. Tron taking out Calico with the Ghost, and I believe was able to get the gun upgrade, if I'm not mistaken. So now they are sitting in a 2v3 retake. How do you think this is going to go?
I think 100 Reeves have to hope it goes their way. Obviously, the numeric advantage is on the side of Barbecue Esports, and the time is starting to tick down. Less than 20 seconds left on the spike. Just coming in with a little bit of a tap, but is going to get the utility decimated. Coming in with the paranoia plus the haunt. We'll spot him out. Allow for the... Oh, I think Tron has disconnected. Although that looked a little silly. He didn't give up. He disconnected, sadly. So I think we're going to go to a tack pause real quick. But yeah, Barbecue Esports managing to once again even out this map. They're still not quite ready to give it up just yet. But I think we're going to go into a little bit of a tech pause. We are going to, I think, continue talking a little bit. But I think I want to talk about real quick about how 100 Reeves have been a little flip-floppy, so to speak, right? At the beginning, we saw them still play a little bit more cautious, still play with that more defaulty style, but then all of a sudden they started switching it up, and they started finding a lot of success with a little bit more of an aggressive style, and then we saw them switch it again towards the beginning of the second half, and play a little bit more defaulted, looking for that information. But then last round, we saw Gray taking a bit of a awkward fight, right? I think that's a situation where you let your duelist take the lead, and even though you're feeling it a little bit, right? We see Gray 19 and 13. You have to let your duelist take those fights because they have the ability and they have the utility to be able to get out of those sticky situations where you're stuck behind an enemy, right? When he was put up against, I think it was Calico behind that little banister on B main. So I think it's just one of those situations where you're getting a little bit of a heat check.
Yeah, I mean, looks like we are good and ready to go. I hope this didn't affect anybody's performance. But one thing I really have to, I have to laugh at, right? Rapper Rice walked completely past the AFK player. Asianator pops in, takes out Just Calico, taking out Tron. Is now a 3v5 retake for the side of 100 Dweebs, and it is not looking good. An entire off-site post plant coming in, and when you're playing an off-site post plant with people such as a breach and such as a fade, it's really going to be difficult to get anybody. Soul takes out Asianator. Calico takes out 2, gets 3K right now, and gets the 4K, and finishes the round and takes the lead right now. And 9-8, that round looked phenomenal from BBQ Esports.
Yeah, another round where they're able to ascertain map control, secure spaces, and then just execute, salt of the earth. Very, very standard Valorant, We're not seeing anything crazy, not any new ideas, right? I don't want anybody to feel like 100 Dweebs are just getting completely diffed. When in reality, it's just BBQ Esports is playing a very good Valorant, and 100 Dweebs haven't been able to counter. Asianator, though, playing a little bit of crazy, giving me a little bit of the sauce that I've been looking for, getting a double towards mid, but Jess and Souls will manage to trade it out. Tron finds a double on this round, but Rapper Rice still wants a little bit more. Oh no! Gets a little bit chaotic towards the end of the round. Rapper Rice will be taken out by Souls, and Jess looked a little bit compromised towards the end there. Running out of bullets in the magazine. It was close, but his teammate was nearby to be able to support him there. And yeah, another round where 100 Vs just wake up, and they just decide to shoot back.
Yeah, absolutely. They wake up, they decide to shoot back, but what's funny to me is how long that fight actually decided to go on. Missing all of the shots with the Sheriff, missing all the shots with the Phantom, and then sitting in front of them and reloading the Phantom, by the way. That is just, to me, that is the BM moment that everybody is laughing at.
Yeah, but even pro gamers, even Tense, my heckin' Lord Tense has bad days. So we'll allow Jess to have a little bit of a fumble there in that round, and Souls having another one, a little bit of a costly one, as that Haunt will spot him, giving 100 Dweebs a little bit of a disadvantage as Souls gets taken out by Calico, but Trick immediately evens out the numbers, taking out that silent assassin that was on the prowl, but I don't think he's aware of this giant looming force coming towards mid that's getting ready to just break through, but he has Tron ready there to watch him. Asianator, though, will instantly take off his head, and that will leave Trix in a little bit of an awkward position as he has to retake all of the space. But insane shot coming in from Jess, even though he was blind from that paranoia, will manage to put it at a 2v3. Thresh comes in and will be saved in a safe position so that they're able to use it for the full retake. It clears out a lot of space, but they haven't completely cleared this market area, although it seems like they're choosing to ignore it. Having the correct read that all of BBQ Esports has left towards that back of the site. Oh, and in a bad position is Nan. Will take a little bit of damage from that mosh pit. Trix has again that Thresh. Nan, though, manages to find Gray through all of that chaos, and it's all left to Trix. This time again, no utility, just a Phantom, and little to no time. Chooses to switch it out for that Riot gun buddy, and another chance to fight in this next round. BBQ Esports getting to double digits here, 10-9, and I think this is another round where 100 Reeves need a timeout.
Absolutely, and I did read a little bit that 100 Dweebs has been fully aware of the use of timeouts from previous seasons, but I just don't know why they're not deciding to use it at all. They have not chosen to use a timeout, and that is going to potentially be their downfall if they don't use one within this or the next round. Well, obviously, now they have to use it next round, if they use it.
Yeah, and even though it looks close, right, as they're trading rounds, I think it's necessary sometimes to get the edge. And interesting tech here, as that satchel will be used to break the Cypher utility, but Calico instantly clearing out souls. A little bit of a risky push as you have a sheriff, I think it was, decided to push out into that Vandal of Calico. I think managed to do a little bit of damage onto Asianator, but not much. Nothing to worry about. Tricks here, though, on 2 armor, 100 health, getting ready to be hit by a wave of utility and players coming out from the side of BBQ Esports. Careful, though, because Calico is once again on this deep lurk. If the Cypher from the side of 100 Reeves falls, that whole mid area will be spotted out. Calico, though, choosing to save their life and live for another day, maybe help their teammate get that spike down. Coming down now with 30 seconds left. Spike is down. 3v4, or excuse me, 4v5. Seems like I can't count, but what I can count on is Calico being good for a couple. Here we go with the duel. The Disney comes through. We'll delay it a little bit. A little bit of utility coming out from either team, but nothing here. It doesn't seem like 100 Reeves is really sure if they want to commit or not. The little man will come through. We'll manage to have the spike. Calico, though, finds Jess, find that mirror Cypher. Calico with a third on the round. And it seems like they want to do everything themselves this round. But Gray, though, won't allow it. Instead, we'll give it up to Asianator for a double kill. 11-9. It's looking like the beginning of the end for 100 Reeves. Sadly, as we reach this basically one away from match point.
Hey, we finally see it.
Oh
For the
my!
first time ever, we
think it might be a
finally
little
see
too late.
someone call a timeout. But now the better question to ask is this timeout too late to be called, or is it still possible? And I mean, just with how 100 Dweebs have been playing, I really cannot understand why this timeout got called as late as it did. This is the first timeout in 2 maps, by the way.
I think they've been hearing us. I think we gotta whisper from now on, because I think our voices are leaking through the monitor. But I think this timeout is way too late. It's I guess it's better late than never. But man, 11-9, you're on basically an eco round. I don't know if this timeout is really gonna change much in terms of the direction that this map is going into. We see that Jess has a Stinger light shields, a few rifles, but mostly scraps here. And I don't know what 100 Dweebs have changed. It doesn't seem like they changed anything. Instead, they're gonna go for a very forceful play towards that mid area. They're clearing out completely A main, so this should give them the instant information that the B hit is coming. And if that wasn't enough, that Nightfall clears out all of the site, pushing Throne all the way to Boba. Here comes the spike down from the side of BBQ Esports. The little man will spot out Asianator, but will not stun him. The utility from the breach will come in. Tron finds one. Asianator and Purple Worm will find 2 more. Gray putting up another one on the scoreboard for himself, leaving it in 3v3. Neural Theft coming in from 100 Reeves, but this time it's ticking. The sand is running through the hourglass. Tricked will find the life of Rice. Calico, though, being able to find one, but Asianator with the showstopper completely misses it. Doesn't even land a lick of damage on either of the players. Manages to kill Jess, and I think that gives them enough time. Maybe? Oh! 0.13 second, or 0.13 milliseconds left on that spike. 100 Dweebs with the timeout. Completely shocking me. Managing to find one more in this map, and I think we're gonna see either an overtime or possibly a third map here.
I've been playing devil's advocate this entire time with 100 Dweebs.
It's over.
And right now, I need 100 Dweebs to lock it in and start hitting their shots. And right now, they're doing very, very good. They're utilizing all of this space in mid. Did they just close the door on their team?
I think it's something that they've been doing the whole time. I think they close the door and then either instantly break it or have somebody else open it afterwards. But I think that's okay. 100 Leaves, though, using that same strategy we saw last time, but this time, BBQ Esports coming with an instant adjustment. Oh, but Gray, his position is insane. Manages to find one, but doesn't greed. Oh, but perhaps he should have because Rice manages to find the trade. Xeniq finds Trick, but Souls doesn't want to quite yet give up the round to BBQ Esports. Puts out Rapper Rice, putting it in a 3v3. We do have that showstopper and that teleport coming in from that Omen on the side of 100 Reeves, while BBQ Esports has that Rolling Thunder and the similar Omen ult on their side. So we could see almost anything happening here. But it seems like BBQ Esports wants to take this B side, knowing that that Cypher, I think, is stuffed on this A side. Tron coming in with the information, spots out all three members. But I don't think that will be enough to stall out the Splint that's coming in. Souls manages to find Xeniq even though he was under complete fire from both sides of that choke point. Tron finds one and Worm has just sold the game. An interesting teleport coming in. I think he wasn't expecting, or they weren't expecting, the players from 100 Days to be so close and instantly kill his teammate, but I don't understand the play here.
So I actually understand the potential.
Huh?
So do you remember the old Tens clip on Split where he TP's really, really far away and is able to just walk back towards the spike and peek over a little bit and get the kill?
Yeah.
That is exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to TP into basically the spawn of 100 Dweebs and start to walk back towards the bomb, but there wasn't enough time and there wasn't enough space for him to do that, and all of a sudden it becomes a massive downfall from there.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting strategy. We hecking love tens, but I don't think, in my opinion, that was the call. But here we see that Xeniq and the rest of his team need a second to compose the nerves. You know, we've seen a little bit of few desperate plays, and I think my producer, the voice in my head, is telling me that we had a raid, so we want to thank them very, very much for giving us a huge raid over here. Welcome to all the new viewers. We're here in the semifinals of our pickup league. We have BBQ Esports versus 100 Reeves. I think an undefeated BBQ Esports, an undefeated 100 Reeves versus a reforged BBQ Esports after their former squad had to disband. And we're seeing here the possibility of one of these teams going up against Gen Z in the finals. So, you know, strap in because we have the possibility of going through a third map of Lotus. But 100 Reefs have to close out this last map of Sunset if they want to take us to this next map of Lotus. Trix and his player Jess here are tag teamed up towards the back of A side, getting ready for the incoming onslaught from BBQ Esports. They have slowly taken up all of this elbow root control, but they have none of that A main control. So Gray here, who's in a decent position, could find some of that utility here, find a little bit of space. The Dizzy will come in to try to spot out anybody, won't find anything, and I think that Dizzy falling down back to its owner will be the call from BBQ Esports to fully commit to the site. A little bit of information, a little bit of utility will be exchanged between the teams. Xeniq coming in, peeking off of his boombot, finds Jess, takes on that Cypher, which gives a lot of breathing room to the team of BBQ Esports. Calico finding a kill, being clutch as always, puts out the neural tap as well. But Drake will come in with the interchange, taking out those smokes. But the person we need to look at is Nan, but oh my god, Trix and Tron managing to find one each. We'll put them in a better position. Rapper Rise though will shut down Trick and the time is running out. It's all up to Nan. Tron, though, is low on health, and I don't know if they have enough time here. I think this will come
They
down to the last second. And yeah, as you said, they do barely any time left. 1.49 seconds left on that spike. And for the first time in this whole series, 100 Dweebs will be on match point with the possibility of going to a third map.
You know,
And look at that
I'm
econ.
glad. Oh, absolutely. The econ is going to be great. Souls is going to get a buy from Gray, which absolutely what you want to do a lot of the times is look at the econ, look at, you know, who's close to what alt, because there's a lot of potential to get an ult on this round, and all of a sudden it becomes a massive advantage for you because now your team has the ult, and it looks like they're just going to swing out. And it looks like they get the numbers advantage, but they need to back off and play it.
Oh man, and Gray coming in with another kill. Souls finding a second on the round. All up to Calico. Somebody who's been very clutch, but I think even for them, this is a little too far. 3 very healthy players, all with rifles, against this Bulldog with the spike being down. The camera from the Cypher will be spotted when the 6th sense from Calico coming in clutch, hearing or feeling that flank coming in from the enemy Omen, expecting the Relook. Managed to find an upgrade on the rifle, was tagged a little bit down to 87 health, 23 shield, coming with the Cypher cage to be able to use it and pick up the spike, which will be allowed by 100 Dweebs. Seems like the members of 100 Dweebs feeling in their hearts the flank coming in through from Calico. This duel towards the mid area of the map is going to be very important. Calico with his nightfall. Oh, wasn't ready for Souls to have caught up so quickly.
All 5 games were Lotus. And then the grand finals, the first map of that series was Lotus as well. So this is definitely a map that I know my way around. And seeing a Neon comp from 100 Dweebs is pretty weird, especially with a chamber.
Yeah, definitely, especially very weird with the chambers. You don't have any utility to really clear up for that Neon to be able to walk through and run through. But Nan is going to find that chamber up on that B site. Gray, though, with the trade coming in into Xeniq, finding that mirror pick, putting 100 Vs and BBQ Esports on an even 4 versus 4. Nan down to 39 health. Barbecue Esports coming in with a little bit of a slowdown to their tempo, looking towards this A side of the map with that Breach Viper and Sky inching forward. Nan's still stuck in this position though. Gray will spot him out. Won't be able to land any more shots, but this will give him the inkling that the rest of his teammates are on this A side. But the B split is going to be the final decision from Barbecue Esports. Spike coming down, Rapper Rise using those mollies to be able to deny a little bit of that space. Careful though. Trick is super low on HP, and Rapper Rise with the aggressive play. We'll be able to find one. Great, acting as a little bit of a spoiler here, just being able to find another one. Left to a 2v1. It's all up to Calico, who has that afterburner, but I don't think we'll be able to use it properly to deny the plan. It's not even able to find a kill. Great with a third on the round. We'll get the spike, giving 100 Reeves the first pistol.
I mean, we've seen it once, we've seen it twice, we've seen it 3 times. This pistol round gets 1, the anti-eco round gets 1, and then what happens? It starts to fall apart. Now, one thing I noticed, my favorite gun, the Outlaw, put on Chamber, and I almost thought Chamber was going to try and go towards that B site and start doing something over there, but thankfully enough, Souls is not going to do that. One thing I would like to see, the Viper wall get changed. Instead of being thrown that way, it is thrown from that B side towards that tree area. Both shots getting missed, 55 HP for Souls, and that is not something you can really afford. But that wall right there, that wall cuts off a lot of angles that you can hold, especially with an Outlaw.
Yeah, and it's getting a little bit difficult for Souls to hold any of these angles with this Outlaw Rapper Rise. We'll be able to take off his head with this classic Xeniq up close with a shorty. Gray though, with the Vandal, we'll find 2 of his teammates just sneaking up on Xeniq, able to take him out from behind. Worm went a little bit of a calm flank. I don't know if BBQ Esports is going to be ready for this player to be in this position, but it's not quite planned for him. Gray, though, spots the head and gets the last kill, giving him a third on the round. You know, a little bit here, waiting out the time for the spike. They will be able to get it completely in a decent round for 100 Dweebs, although they lost 2 players and Jess is down to no shields. They should still be able to have a decent buy for this upcoming bonus round.
Absolutely, but I am a massive, massive fan of pattern recognition. And what does my pattern recognition show me? It's
no.
that 100 Dweebs is gonna lose this round.
I believe. I'm a believer. I think 100 Dweebs is finally gonna break the curse.
Like,
Look at
don't
Gray.
get me wrong. I know some of these players as well. I know some of them personally. I've had the conversations with them before, but at the same time, they just tend to overheat, which is potentially what we could see a Gray doing. Already using one of those slides, but the second they hear that player coming up that A angle, they're gonna immediately start to push faster towards C, and that's what Xeniq does. Xeniq gets the kill onto, I believe that is Tron,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Tron on the Viper, and he needed to get at least one there if it was going to give the team his ability to find it. Calico with a beautiful flash and swing manages to find 2 Asian with another one on the round, but Souls doesn't quite want to give it up just yet, but he has to deal with 3 players, a triple swing possibly coming in here, and a lot of utility left onto all 3 of those players. The tap comes in, doesn't turn the flash quite correct. Calico with a third on the round gives that bonus, and I guess I believe a little too hard because 100 Reeves have yet again managed to keep playing standard Valorant, winning the first 2 and losing that bonus round.
It's pattern recognition, and I hate it. I hate it so much because a lot of teams don't understand how to break the pattern, and we've seen it a bunch of times. Is they start to overheat, and I mean, absolutely great. Souls played that as perfectly as they could have, but I mean, popping that ult when you did, there was no need. You had no information. You were playing a very, very big gamble. And right now, I mean, it's just not going too well right now.
It's not going too bad though. I think it was more due to Tron playing a little too far forward, right? We see him now playing towards this hall area, towards the CT area on C. But in the last round, even though he knew his teammates were going to play very aggressively towards Rebel, he was playing up in the box close to the entrance, which I think is what allowed BBQ Esports to get that initial pick, right? When you're playing a very aggressive, heavily stacked composition on the defense side, you want to have those defenders basically just play for information to know if the enemy team is going to hit that side and play their lives truly. But this time, no need to play for their lives as they will find 3 players here. Jess and Gray will manage to find 2. And a third coming in from Jess, but Nan does manage to trade it out, leaving it into a 3v2. Ties tap the spike, but Trick with a beautiful flash and pop swing finds some Purple Worm though on the lurk, is able to take out Trick. Leaves them in a 2v1, 18 seconds, spike is down. He does have a little bit of utility from this Viper, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. No! An insane blind swing through that smoke and just complete spray down. BBQ Esports coming up again with another collat kill to seal out a round and give them another even scoreboard. And wow, 100 East must be traumatized from a second collat kill.
I mean, I saw that play, right? And my brain immediately just went word.exe. PC check, word.exe. But at the same time, right, that is a very, very common angle to spray. It's a very common angle for someone to hold, especially when you're holding the spike. You could potentially be holding, different angles to make sure that no one's going to push up, but the deagle buy for 100 Dweebs right now is Going potentially lackluster is great. Takes out Nan, but Purple Worm and the rest of BBQ Esports able to take out the other three sitting there. So fortunately, Souls and Tron sitting in a, I almost said 1 versus 4, but it is a 2 versus 4 right now, and they know where both of these players are, and they're just gonna hold these angles as much as they need to.
And like you mentioned earlier, these players from 100 Reefs do seem to overheat quite a little bit, right? Because after Souls gets that kill on the Neon with a beautiful slide and calls out the information that there's at least 2 more players there, I don't think the necessity was there for the rest of his teammates to swing out. But careful, Souls will manage to find one here. Onto Calico, taps the spike, but gets overwhelmed instantly by Purple Worm. Raporice finding a second on the round, giving his team a third, and yeah, just another one of those rounds where if we're gonna play such aggressivity, right, we want to have the rest of our team ready to fall in line in case things go south. And in the case here of Souls and Tron, they just were too far away on the map to be able to find anything.
Yep, absolutely. And this play that they're doing, right? BBQ Esports needs to know that they're going to keep doing this play. They're going to keep sending these 3 players up towards A main. They're going to follow a flash with the, with the Clove Muddle, and all of a sudden you are looking at a pretty big recipe for disaster, if I don't say. But, the lack of a hard set Sentinel is gonna be very bad. And as I say that, right, Souls immediately taking out Asianator. And, the ult's online. You've got the Chamber Op. You've got the Tour de Force. Tour de Force? Yeah. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. It's French. I should know. But you've also got what I like to call the Cabbage Patch online for, for your Sky. And the will resurrect or pick me up from your Clove, but this ult coming online, this KJ ult is going to waste a bunch of time, and it's a lot of time that they don't have, as 2 of the players do get detained. So it's basically going to be a 3v3 retake for the first few seconds.
Oh man, I think that was a big mistake. Nan finding the first one onto Souls. Raporice will find another one. Nan with a double on the round. Gray though will come in with the trade. At the end of the day, I think they just played it quite right. Yeah, not enough time left on the clock. And I think that was a big mistake on part of the 100 Reefs to even allow 2 of their players to be detained. Because you basically are forced to handicap yourself, even though you have a significant numeric advantage against BBQ Esports, just because you don't back up, you don't respect that Killjoy lockdown, right? When you play in a situation where it's time sensitive, either you need time to plant or you need time to defuse, you either give up the space and let the Killjoy lockdown go through, or you push it and break it and not get caught, right? I think a huge mistake coming in from 100 Dweebs, but new round, new day. It's still possible for them to switch it up.
I mean, as much as I have to say new round, new day, so much, right? I can't help but notice that Tron shot their own Clove as they ulted.
Let's not mention it. Let's not.
I mean, perfectly tracked their own Clove as they decided to pop the ult. I'm gonna have to go back to find that, because that was funny to me, at least. We see the Tour de Force getting popped from the side of Souls. We see those 3 players all lined up, ready to go, just sitting there, stationary, not having to worry about that. And I did just get word that is exactly what happened. Was they were shooting their own Clove when they died. So this is gonna be a really sticky situation. They're looking to just potentially play exits, but The blind accidentally blinding themselves.
No way! He still gets one.
Talica taking out Gray, but just gets the trade back as Soul
Oh,
tries to peek
man.
out through the Viper's pit. And Xeniq taking out one more, but they know that Nan's there. Nan gets headshotted through the box, but unfortunately, nobody is able to get that full kill. Tron sitting in a 1 versus 2, looking directly at Xeniq through the wall. Unfortunately, Tron is not able to get the bomb defused, and that is 5-2 now for Barbecue Esports.
And Barbecue Esports are just continuing to completely ignore the aggressive play towards the 100Ds, right? I think people see the Rebel play and don't really understand what is happening there, right? When you have Rebel control, that allows you to move away from this A site, insert a player there, and basically keep a living alarm bot on that A site, right? It doesn't mean that you're just gonna sit there with 3 of your players and completely hold that area. It means you're just gonna give it up afterwards and have 2 of those players rotate over to that site, right? But 100 Dweebs is just completely just ignoring that and just saying, oh, okay, you want to take Rebel and keep 3 players there? We'll just go to your other site where there's only 1 player. In this case, we see a little bit of a switch up, right? They're refusing to take up this A Rebel control and instead choosing to give it up and instead hold C down with a Viper's Pit. But yet again, I just don't think that 100 Dweebs have a understanding of how Lotus is played, right? We have a Viper Spit down, but we have 3 players on that side of the map, right? 4 players if you count Tricks, are leaning heavier towards that C side when it should be the complete opposite. We should be heavily fighting towards this A side, but instead, Barbecue Esports will take it up. Gray, though, has that ult from that Neon, and I don't think this was a great play. Manages to find one, though. Instantly gets shut down. Souls will get the trade as Barbecue Esports have been able to take down 3 of those 100 players, and that's left into a 2v3. Worm, though, a little bit low on health. Souls could find something here if he kills Xeniq. Doesn't manage it. Was ready for Nan's position, though. Has to reload. Xeniq with the spray. Manages to take him down. Tron, though, finding that mirror matchup, killing Worm. But little time left on the clock. He's slowly clearing these angles, and I think he knows that time is running out. Looking for Xeniq all over the place, and Xeniq is gonna be able to find him at the end, giving his team a 6th round and managing to escape. And 100 Dweebs just I don't feel like they really understand how to play this Lotus yet again.
No, to me, this is definitely not a map that it looks like they scrimmed. They should call this timeout now. They should have called the timeout probably 2 rounds ago, before they decided to let them get 6, not only 6 rounds in general, but 6 rounds back to back to back. And this is just going to continuously destroy and ruin the mental that the players have on this map.
And something else for this map is that Lotus can be very economy in terms of ults for the attackers, but careful, because Jess and Tricks will find kills, shutting down that execute that has been very deadly for Barbecue Esports, just with a double Tricks with 1. And this leaves us in a 4v2 with the ability of 100 Dweebs to upgrade some of these weapons. The box stack coming in super clutch. Nan, though, will use the information from his teammate that nobody's here on this A side. We'll teleport over, pick it all up, but he's playing a little farther back, right? Allowing Purple Worm, the guy without the spike, to be able to clear up the site for him, so the way that the spike is not lost in case there is a straggler here. Playing in a little bit of a default position to play towards the side of tree, but will get spammed down to 19 health. Has to plant in the default corner, but Tron's already there for the frag. It's all left up to Worm. Managed to find one, but Jess on this round has been hot and ready, just like a pizza pie. But just like a pizza pie, we will close out this round. Number 3 on the board for 100 Dweebs, and I think the timeout is still necessary. Even if they won that last round, I think the timeout is something that would do them very good, and this time I guess it's coming from BBQ Esports.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Barbecue Esports is looking to stop whatever kind of momentum that they're looking for, right? This map is usually paired well with, a Killjoy or a Cypher, someone who has the ability to halt a lot of pushes rather than running, a Chamber, right? Because Chamber is definitely, one of those one of those agents where they were really good when they had 2 trips. But now that they only have 1 trip and, their gun isn't as broken as it was before, you're now looking at an agent who is no longer really viable in any sort of play at all.
And I think before the balancing changes to the duelist, you could see a chamber, right? Because we had that Raze, who, although was still a lot faster with those satchels, was a little more handleable, right? But now, a lot of teams are running the Neon, and it's much harder to hit a target that is sliding and zooming across the map rather than a Raze who, although they're going to satchel and fly across the sky, they eventually have to land. But Gray with a beautiful headshot across that Viper wall, through the wall as well, through the physical barrier on the map, will give them the space towards Rubble. But now, here, this is the time where if they understand their mistakes, they should just leave either Tricks or Jess here on this Rubble space and rotate somebody over, which they will. They'll rotate Gray, but I feel like they should rotate one more person. 100 Dweebs, though, I think have the correct read this time because Barbecue Esports are gonna look to fight. A smoke from the club will come in. Paranoia and Breach Stun coming through, ready for the attack. A flash will come in from the sky. And wow, Jess manages to find Xeniq and tricked him with the double back-to-back, and just one more close out the round. And finally, that robot control plays off onto 100 Reeves with the correct read, and that must be a big morale boost to finally have that strat that you've been running this whole time hit the jackpot.
Yeah, absolutely right. A massive thing is they're playing heavily off each other. One of them contacts, the other one flashes right off that contact, and immediately, once that flash pops, they're both swinging, just able to really, really track that, like we said, that fast-moving, sliding Neon. And immediately, right after we talk about it, unfortunately, Souls gets one and immediately gets taken out. Xeniq takes out Tron, and to me, in my opinion, they should have just taken that space and immediately started moving back towards that C site, because they're starting to have all of that space, but the situation that this bomb is planted in, there is not a lot of, there's not a lot of room for error for this team. They have to, they have to be very careful on the post plant. Nan takes out Jess. Gray takes out Nan. But unfortunately, this is not a good situation. Gray gets the 4K. Xeniq, got the 3K. That is good. But, Tricked right there. Tricked is just there for moral support. Tricked is just there being like, yeah, go get him. That's my duelist player, and that is absolutely what you can do. Your duelist is completely just solely supposed to get in there, maybe get a pick, maybe get 2, and then die. That is exactly how you want your duelist to play. We see the operator coming online for Souls. Although, if you look at the mini-map, it does not look promising.
It does not look promising at all, and we see 100 Reeves coming in with yet again the same play, but this time they will be met with a little bit of resistance from the side of Barbecue Esports, who are fighting with about the same amount of conviction towards that Rubble, and this time they will win it. Wow! What a shot coming in from Rapper Rice onto Gray, shutting down that upper charge from that Neon and giving him his lockdown, which is a huge swing in momentum, because now the reason that they were fighting for this Rubble control was for that ult orb, but now Rapper Rice can give it up again. let either his Viper or his Neon or his Omen pick it up and put them on the track to continue their dominance of the ult economy. A minute left on the clock. 100 Dweebs left to stew by BBQ Esports, but here comes that execute as I was talking about. That lockdown coming in from Rapper Rice. They will play a very standard. They will let the time run out, but Tron, with a little bit of a lurk position, gets the life of Calico, but plays a little bit too greedy and lets that Neon slide through. This time though, 100 Reeves will just let the spike go down. BBQ Esports, numeric advantage. Although in the case of that Viper, she is a little bit low on health thanks to the antics from its mirror matchup. Souls though has a bit of a flank here. Oh, the double swing is perfect. Gets a little bit complicated, but Worm finally manages to get it. Trick does get the interchange onto Rapper Rice. Just gets another one, but Nan with a double kill to close out the round and close out the half. 7-5. BBQ Esports on the lead, but 100 Reeves not far behind.
We've seen this before, right? We saw this. I'm pretty sure it was actually last map, just on the on the flip side, but right here we're gonna start to see why Killjoy is a little bit, could potentially be a little bit better of an almost an initiator. Listen, it's been a long day, everybody. It really has, but we're gonna see why Killjoy is one of the more picked Sentinels, especially over someone like Chamber, who I believe hasn't had like a really good pick rate since probably like Masters Reykjavik.
Yeah, after those Chamber nerfs came through, a lot of players have moved away. We have seen a few Chamber merchants here and there, especially on the Apex server with Last from Theta Division. But even then, the impact from those players hasn't been very well felt by their team, because just the other two Sentinels, the big two if you might, in Cypher and KJ, are just so much more impactful. KJ being able to give you free utility across the map, and Cypher being able to, stall any sort of execute that you throw at it. Tron coming in with a huge double kill. Does get shut out by that afterburner, but his teammates Gray and Tricks are there for the kills. Gray with a double kill to match his partner. Manages to find this pistol round for 100 Reeves, and I think this is the first attacking or the first second pistol round that 100 Reeves has won, no? If I'm not mistaken.
Actually, pistol rounds?
Because they usually always win the first pistol round on the map, but then the second one they usually always lose.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, that is. If anything, they've probably won like one extra pistol round comparative, but right now, really fast and really aggressive push from Gray. They've cleared Breakable. They've cleared a majority of Sight. The only thing that they haven't cleared yet is Tree, which, as we can see, Xeniq, they're all just sitting there waiting for all of these players to push in. And
Xeniq manages to get one from the position Tree, and very careful because he has a Spectre. He does have Spike as well. Manages to rotate a little bit on his position.
One enemy remaining.
Was ready for the swing out from Trix. Left to a 1v1. 13 health and a dream. Forced to reload on that Spectre after a little bit of a jiggle peek from Souls. Souls breaks down that B breakable door, but instead I think he's going to opt to go to C site. Trying to get as far away as possible from Xeniq, but I think he's going to fall right into his trap. Oop, Xeniq, last moment, deciding to turn back around and look for a lurk coming in from that chamber, but the chamber's completely opposite side of the map. Spike will be planted into a little bit of a default position, not exactly planted towards that default mound stance. 1v1 against this agent. This chamber here needs to go crazy with those teleports. He has time to set up. So I should see something coming out of those teleports. A tap coming in from Xeniq. will be found out instantly. Trademark broken. Stun comes through. Oh, but Souls with the tracking, managing to find the weakened Asianator to give his team a 7th round and even it out. And I think the writers are getting a little lazy because we're seeing the script from the last map, but this time flipped around, you know? Copy my homework, but change it up a little bit. And the change up this time is that 100 Reeves are going to be the ones coming up from the losing side, picking up the even 7-7.
And what usually happens when they win pistol and
They win
Eagle?
another one, because here we go.
They
Aggressive
lose
play.
the bonus.
Aggressive play. Thor trouble yet again. Some of the map, that's a little weaker. BBQ Esports was expecting more of a C lean as they have that Omen so deep into C main. But this time, 100 Reeves looking to put a lot of pressure towards Trouble and then freeze, seeing if BBQ Esports make any mistakes. Now they're going to go back towards that area and they manage to clear Nan. Nan, though, gets one for his troubles. Jess will shut him down, putting this into a 4v4, which certainly is a little advantageous for the attackers, as they will be able to take this seaside completely for free, I think. Unless this KJ is able to sneak in, but doesn't seem like it. They do have to be careful. That spam can come through from Waterfall, but they will plan towards Mound. No flankers coming. But oh my god, look at the positioning from Souls. He's already on their tails. He is going to be able to find BBQ Esports completely unaware. He can go insane here. It's up to him. Spike being turned down. Tricked will be the one to find it. Tron with another one, but Asianator can find an interchange here. Tricks with a second on the round. Tron still yet to find one. Souls will be the one to close it out. That flank, that lurk, didn't have as much impact as I thought it would, but on the end, Souls manages to get one with it, putting 100 Reeves on the lead once again. And this time, your pattern recognition seems to fail.
Well, it's about
Reeves,
time.
100 Reeves managed to finally win that bonus.
I mean, they've had 3 chances to do it, so at this point, you only have to think 4th time's a charm, man. I mean, if you don't, what's the saying? It's like,
You don't get
first
it?
you don't succeed, try again. That's all they've been doing. They've just been trying again, and it's about time that they get it. Asianator has absolutely no line of sight whatsoever, but is still able to potentially hear footsteps from the rotates coming over. It's now a better question, do they clear it? And they do it. Asianator takes out Souls, but Tricked gets the trade back, but also takes a bit of damage.
Man, that I know it's an unexpected position, but that should not have happened at all. For 100 Dweebs, now they're gonna have to be forced to rotate over to that A side of the map, even though they've just committed the Seekers onto that C side. Rotation's already coming through from BBQ Esports. Although they've lost their entry, they still have a lot of utility to negate a plant if it's necessary. And it seems like 100 Reeves is going to give them the opportunity to set up. Although Gray is already deep into sight, might need to find a duel here against that player in drop. We'll get a double swing from one of his teammates. Holding against Rapper Rice, who finds this classics are just putting in work tonight. Rapper Rice with a double headshot. Both will get mollied off. Finds a little corner of solace. But that gives 100 Reeves time to find the last remaining, and it's left to 1v1. No, where Tricks just barely misses the spray down, lives Worm with 4 health. But that's 4 health plenty to find the Thrifty on this round, giving BBQ Esports another chance at the lead, evening it out 8-8. And man, that's a heartbreaker of a round. And here comes the timeout from 100 Reeves, and I think this is the perfect moment to do so.
I mean, yeah, right? They don't want to give any momentum going into this next round. So what they're doing is they're basically just trying to they're just trying to bring themselves back, and they're just making sure, guys, just because we lost this round, it's still tied up. There is still a chance to take home. I believe it's just the glory of winning this round. I don't know if there's a prize yet. The prize is winning. That's the prize. The prize is bragging rights. The voices in my head have told me that is the prize. So, I mean, all they're doing right now is they're just making sure everyone is still calm, cool, and collected. So that way there are no moments like that. I mean, I've watched Tricked play a bunch of times, and that is definitely not something that happens often. But it happens. And that's the part that they just need to get over, is the fact it happens. Oh well, let's go on to the next round. Let's win it and let's move on, right?
Yeah, and I think this is where one of the topics that we were talking about earlier, seeing as 100 Leaves are a team that have been playing together for quite a while BBQ Esports have just been formed recently, as of a few weeks ago. This is where that camaraderie and where that synergy comes in, right? After a long, arduous 3 maps. This is where you have to dig deep and find something other than just wanting to win. You know, you have to want to win not just for yourself, but for your other teammates. But this round, it's not going to be decided by will. It's not going to be decided by any power of friendship. It's going to be decided by the weapons, by that spike. 100 Reaps coming in with a little bit of a loud style freeze, taking a lot of this space towards mound, and then just letting BBQ Esports stew, letting them think about what they've done. You know, a little bit of timeout, but here comes the execute. Non finding the opening kill, but Great manages to trade it out. Great with a double on this round, gives his team all the space in the world, but that Neon comes through, just instantly shuts it down. And Great with a third on the round. Rubber Rice came with a lurk, but it was a wrap for Rice as Souls comes in with the backstab onto the backstabber, putting up 100 Reaves on 9-8, and finally seeing a timeout be fruitful for the team of 100 Reaves. It must feel good for you, Xeniq, to finally see that timeout worth.
I mean, absolutely, right? Timeouts are my favorite thing in the world because they give you so many chances to just collect yourself. And I mean, the gamble stack, there is not a single person towards this A site. They should see all of this aggression and immediately start pushing up towards the A site. But it doesn't matter. Gray is going to take that kill any day of the week.
Yeah, and even though Xeniq was able to find one, finding those two from Gray was very important because that gives space. But Xeniq is still not done. No, actually, as soon as I say that, Jess manages to shut him down, and Jess with a triple on the round. And you can see, start showing now in these rounds who's hungry for it more, who wants it more, who wants to see themselves in that final against Gen C. And 100 Reaves have just started picking it up and picking up momentum with each step they take.
Yeah, absolutely. 10-8 right now. Obviously, it is still doable for BBQ Esports. But at the same time, 100 Dweebs has this momentum. They have the advantage in the economy. So even if they lose this round, there is still a better chance. And this A push is going to be very massive as long as they can break all of this util before they push up.
And yeah, this is going to be very important because it's going to give BBQ Esports an ability to rotate, right? We already see that Viper coming over, ready to support her Killjoy in this take of the site. Meanwhile, Omen and Neon are on the back end lurking, but will be spotted out by that drone from the attacking Neon. Well, we'll get smoked out though. They have to be very careful. Soul is on this deep lurk. Oh, but Xeniq just sees the edge. Very aware of the position of that chamber. This should give the rest of 100 Reaves the go-ahead to start this execute. As we see Jess coming in with the plant. Defender Killjoy does find the ability to put down the lockdown. Just finds the kill onto Worm. This lockdown has a very precarious position as it would leave all the players from 100 Dweebs very far onto site. But man, Xeniq has just picked it up. Just finds the kill on the first one. Oh, and Drawn does not find the spray. What a heartbreaker of a round. 100 Dweebs were so close to taking it to round 11, and at the end, a smoke is all that's standing between them. And at the end of the day, BBQ Esports managed to find round number 9.
I mean, I can't say I wish this game was over because I'm like 90% sure I have PTSD from Lotus. Not Valorant, but just Lotus in general. Because there has been so many issues I've had on this map before. But at the same time, I really want this game to go as long as these players are fighting for it. And right now, we've got a really good matchup. 10-9 so far. It looks like Great knows that one of those players, that Calico, is over there. And, I mean, obviously.
Oh, man.
Worm. Wait, Worm is in that position.
Oh, man. And I think they think it's clear. I think 100 Dweebs thinks it's clear because they shot it with the box. And they looked at it with the wolf. Oh, this is gonna be a little scary. Oh man. Oh, this is bad for them. They just only find one though. Great! With the spray down coming with the supercharge from the Neon. Souls on a deep lurk. I think he managed to walk himself through water, and man, Souls being the hero for the round, finding 2 very important kills. And I think 100 Dweebs are putting themselves back in their place, finding another foothold, and getting closer to the top of this mountain. And man, a round that I thought was completely lost for 100 Dweebs with the precision from Worm, but I think the trigger discipline was a little too disciplined. I think after seeing 2 players, that is a spot that is a one and done. It's a spot that you shouldn't expect more than 1 kill. And after seeing 2 players, I think instantly should have been the spray down. But at the end of the day, sometimes we don't make the best decisions in all the situations. Xeniq has that ult from that Neon. Looks for the one, but Souls, a spray down from Souls, has the classic, but Calico is able to trade him out. He gets a 4 kick, but man, Souls, that chamber that we criticized so much has finally stepped up to the plate, finding 4 on this round and basically handing his team the match point. What a play from Calico. Although here, being able to find 2 in this round, still not letting the heroics from Souls take away from their opportunity to find something, but Jess will finally shut them down 12-9. And I think 100 Dweebs are getting ready to do a reverse sweep almost. Timeout coming in instantly from the side of BBQ Esports, and I'm just still reeling from that play from Souls.
Not only would it be a reverse sweep, this is map point. It's also series point. This is it. If they win this round, they can finally go to bed. They can finally sleep. And so can we. But if BBQ Esports is able to actually win this round, then we still have some great Valorant going on in front of us. So, I mean, hey, I played devil's advocate for 100 Dweebs, which means I'm still keeping my vote for 100 Dweebs. Definitely not because I know a lot of them personally outside of this league. But
don't want to get beat up.
I mean, Trick does a bigger build than me, so I definitely would get beat up.
I'd be scared too.
But hey,
but what I'm really scared of right now is BBQ Esports losing a grip on what seemed to be a pretty dominant game. If we look at that, timeline in the middle of the scoreboard, they won a lot of rounds in a row, or on that attacking side, but now that they switched over, they haven't been able to find the same groove. You know, they find a few scatter rounds, but here we go. The aggressive play, Xeniq finally punishing Souls for that lurk towards the middle of the map. But on the other side, BBQ Esports are also creating a lot of pressure towards Mound by placing a Viper's Pit basically into Mound, right? We saw 100 Dweebs try something similar, but they try to place it towards the site where it would negate the plant spike. But this time, BBQ Esports are negating complete entry onto that C site, and they're stacking B, you know, being ready for a possible A pivot, and then just letting 100 Dweebs commit onto site so they can capitalize and use that numbers advantage that they have acquired from the punish onto Souls to carry them for the rest of the round.
BBQ Esports has to play this round and the rest of this game perfectly to bring it to overtime. There is no room for error right now. They do not play this round perfectly and give up a bunch of mistakes, then it is going to be over. The plant going down, great, taking out Rapper Rice. And that is it. Calico takes out Gray, gets the trade. Trick takes out Nan. Calico popping the almost hitting their teammate, but unfortunately, Tron takes out Xeniq. Just gets picked off, but Calico takes out one. Purple Worm takes out Tricked, and they win that round. I mean, they had to play it as good as they did, or else it really would have just been over from there.
Yeah, I think a well-played round. You know, they understand, or they finally understood that a big part of the 100 Dweebs attacks was Souls playing towards that middle of the map, controlling that B main area, which allowed the rest of 100 Dweebs to, you know, pivot freely across A and C side. And BBQ Esports understood they had to punish that, so they'd go out and do it, and then that then escalated and, you know, cascaded into that round win. But the economy for 100 Dweebs is still pretty strong, so the only damage that was done was to the scoreboard. And this time, 100 Dweebs seem to be a little frazzled from the last round loss. Will team flash themselves, but Gray will use that slide to negate some of this Viper utility that has been placed down. Complete control of the C site, but be very careful. Look at the positioning on BBQ Esports. They are ready to do a little bit of spraying from that waterfall area. This time they choose not to give away their position. Heals will come through from the side of 100 Dweebs. A little bit of ammunition is wasted as both teams choose to trade out a little bit. Calico though finding the first onto Jess, but they have that resurrect from the Clove. Xeniq finding two, and wow, what a round! 100 Dweebs close it out with a triple from